Well, I will give Marilyn this. It will never be a desert with her. She always provides new stuff. So let me just give some quick background for the new people. So Marilyn is someone who was in a cult and got out. So she's technically a cult survivor, although her recollections of the cult experience are not always truthful. That's who she is. And Aaron is an ex-Scientologist, and now he's running a new, basically fascist gang that likes to basically go after a lot of people for not bowing and praying to Aaron. So essentially what happened is Aaron, his mistress, because he's still technically married, Jenna Miscavige and Liz Gale were on Marilyn's channel just doing the usual pro-Aaron propaganda. And to be perfectly honest, I listened to the early part and logged off saying, like, yeah, it's the usual regularly scheduled Pravda, neo-fascist nonsense, whatever. And it's like, I don't care about that. But I was shocked to learn that if you are patient, and this did happen, apparently Liz Gale did a series of threats. If you want the receipts, I put that in other videos, and I will do more work on this. So Marilyn, being the usual Oberholtz ideological minister, decided to take down the video. So just to do fact correction, which I was correct, apparently she did make it private for a while, but I thought she was just going to keep it offline for a long time. Nope, she done surprised me. She put the video back up, but well, there are a few changes. Now, I'm going to patiently go through the video, but just comparing the two videos, and again, listen, I'm not here to brag that I'm the only watcher or observer of these nutcases. But I'm just stating a fact that I also downloaded the original video. So what's the punchline? Well, the thing she put back on is basically missing roughly 30 to 40 seconds. So it's not a huge difference. And I double checked probably the most controversial part of it, which was frankly Liz Gale doing a physical threat against Tom DeVoch and his daughter. His very young daughter, too, by the way. So that was really disturbing. That part, I don't see too much tampering. So I'm guessing there are other bits and pieces Marilyn decided to cut out, because there is a time difference. So I would assume the obvious. It's the Liz Gale portions that she's decided to edit. And there's another section where, and again, I didn't have time to look this up to do a receipt thing on that one, but apparently she decided to have, this Liz Gale, have another vengeful rant against Biddy Miscavige, who's related to Jenna Miscavige. It's actually pretty weird, because going from what she's saying, the Miscaviges overall had too much power in Scientology, but not Jenna. Miracle, Jenna just didn't have any power, even though Jenna did admit the obvious, saying, yeah, I had a little bit of power in Scientology. Righty then. I'm just fascinated by this on so many levels, because I actually study this seriously in other places, about what would it be like being in this kind of place? Like, just as a thought experiment, what could happen if you travel back to 1920s, 30s Germany, or the Soviet Union in the Stalinist era, like when that kind of stuff was just normal? Like, you would just go out someplace, see a painting or film or picture, and then the next day it's gone, or it's been radically altered, and you're like, hey, wait, that's not right. Something happened. And just tell people, like, hey, what happened to that picture is different. They didn't have like 3 guys, now it has 2 guys. And it was like, no, you got it wrong. It was never 3 guys. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's 3 guys in the picture. It's like, no, you're confused. It's 2 guys. It was always 2 guys. There were only 2 guys in the photo. I'm pretty sure it was 3. It's like, you better shut up. You better shut up now. And that's what it is with SPTV. So if you wanted to like sum up, what is Aaron growing up in Scientology and SPTV? Well, it's basically like that. There's even a great fictional episode on television, which is precisely what they're doing, is that they're basically trying to convince you all the time that, well, yellow is black and black is yellow. Even you're like, wait, but isn't black black and yellow yellow? No, black is yellow and yellow is black. And you're like, okay. But in that episode, to be fair to that, that's like the really vicious, violent, super extreme fascism. Their fascism is, yes, violent, and it is terroristic, but it's not as vicious, to be fair to them. I mean, Aaron is what he is. I mean, he's not a multi-billionaire. Like, he's not that guy, right? But so his cult is kind of smallish, but it is pretty vicious. And there we are. But let me not just do my ranting against Liz and Aaron, because we have more to talk about. So, and I want to be critical of all these places, because some people supporting Marilyn were like, I've always had questions about Brisker and Rinder and those evil people. Well, I don't understand the thing. Just because I don't trust Aaron doesn't mean I should automatically trust Mitch Brisker, because it's like, that's just stupid. I think we should just go in here skeptical of everyone, including myself. And I always tell people, like, if you are having questions, just ask the question. Hopefully respectfully, I will try to provide an answer and give the evidence. But sometimes you can't give evidence, and, you got to go on faith. So one of these other bozo clans who doesn't like Aaron was trying to convince me, like, this Ken Moxon, why do you keep going on about Ken Moxon? Because he's been part of many critical cases in Scientology and is a really thoroughly evil lawyer. I was like, no, I don't think you understand Scientology. Oh, what don't I understand? Oh, see, like Moxon, like, yeah, he really doesn't do anything. Really? Because I just checked with Alonzo's blog, and he's listing quite a few cases that Moxon was a part of. And these are not small cases, guys. Like, Moxon was instrumental in destroying CAN. What is CAN? CAN was basically it was an anti-cult organization. And let me be very clear, CAN is very controversial. They did good work, but they did things that are pretty questionable. And given that you're fighting Scientology, I'm not too critical, but I want to be clear. They did some things that most people would be like, oh, wait, we're doing what now? And I don't know. I mean, when you're fighting Scientology, yeah, I mean, how far can you go? But they were doing things like, this is the record, like outright kidnapping people to, quote, deprogram them. Now, when you study cults, this is a difficult subject. And the law does give you allowances that if you do think someone is a part of a cult, you do have some legal remedies here that you can forcibly take someone out of that cult to try to save them. But it's a very murky legal minefield. And Scientology was getting insanely angry. I'm not going to do the full thing here. One guy who was in Scientology admitted that he was being hired as an assassin to go, I'm being totally serious, an assassin to go after CAN. So, but anyway, they tried their hardest and they succeeded. They just poured so much money and just destroyed the organization and even bought it off. They literally took the trademark because they impoverished the organization. Moxon was a huge part of that. But somehow some people were telling me, well, I keep going on about Moxon. Who cares? So I don't know. So my rule would be with the ex-Scientologists, receipts matter a lot. So I trust Jerry. I trust Doug Scott Kramer. I trust Jesse, and I trust a few other people. But that said, that's what trust should be based on with the ex-Scientologists. If you have receipts, okay, I can trust what you're saying. If you don't have receipts, I'm going to have a few questions, and I'm just going to keep my distance. Because and this is just what it is. I mean, a lot of ex-Scientology people, ex-cultists, period, it's very hard to break old habits. So they will use you, they will manipulate you, they will lie to you, they will do it. It's very hard to get out of that habit. So part of this is to be clear. I do feel sorry for Liz Gale because clearly she was in that cult for a long while. So it's hard to mentally break from these habits. On the other hand, I don't think you're really trying to recover if your solution to leaving one fascist cult is to create another fascist cult. Call me crazy, but creating another fascist cult is making things worse. So we're probably going to be searching for a while how to label what Aaron is up to. Is it just extreme narcissism, extreme fascism, some blending of the two, because a lot of fascists tend to be narcissists, or he's creating a new ism. But whatever it is, it's definitely not anti-Scientology. It's definitely not trying to help victims of Scientology or cult victims. It is there to victimize a whole new generation. And you got to make a choice. I don't want to be a part of that, but some people think like it's the new ice cream and they're just digging in. And now they're adding some, I'm not even joking, Nazism to the recipe. Well, there you go. That's what Liz Gale's new thing is. Help the Nazis, help the fascists, and help the extremists. Why? Oh, saving children. And we save children by threatening them. It totally makes sense if you lived in Stalinist Russia or, Hitlerland. But I don't want to live in Hitlerland. Call me crazy, but I don't want to live in Hitlerland. And I guess that makes me a pariah and the most evil thing in the universe. to Liz Gale. Anyway.